Welcome back to Abrar Knowledge channel. I have come across wonderful set of questions from the website called Mometrix Academy, and I'm going to take the model practice test questions. Let's get started. I'll keep this link in the description. So I'm going to attempt all 15 questions, and also I'll give a brief explanation, and I will also will explain some of the reason why I'm selecting that particular answers to that question. Which key performance indicator is calculated by subtracting current cost from the ideal cost? So cost of poor quality. Which type of control, which type of chart is appropriate when sample size is variable? Okay. And each sample may contain more than one instances, or we can call it as samples of the targeted conditions. So we can use U chart. And I feel like the question is still not very clear because U chart is only for discrete. However, if it is variable, we can also use X bar R chart also as well. What is the purpose of PERT analysis during the analysis phase of DMAC? PERT I have explained in the previous video, and it is to find out the critical path of a process. Let's go to the fourth one. Which of the following is a disadvantage of using in engineering process control devices to prevent the deviation? And what is the disadvantage? The use of these devices precludes the use of statistical process control. I think this could be an answer. And which type of leveling typically includes the use of Hygenka? Hygenka is for product leveling by product. Which parameter of statistical distribution relates to the sharpness of its peak? Sharpness, we can say kurtosis. If it is, we talked about shift, we can say skewness. So it should be the right answer. And if a mixed level experiment design has 4 factor with the 3 levels, so 2 the power of 3, right? So 3 the power of 4. Maybe I'll use the annotation. So 4 factor 3 levels. So 3 factor and then run. I mean the factors are 4. Okay, and I'm using plus 2 factor 3 levels. So 3 levels 2 factor. So 3 is a 9, 9 is a 81 plus 3 is a 9. So 90 run should be done to conduct the design of experiment, or total number of 1. Okay, and which method of creating prioritization matrix is appropriate when time is limited? When the time is limited, we'll not be able to go for summary, full analytical, and partial and all that. We can just go for consensus criteria method. In which design it is possible to have 2 factor interaction confounded with one another, as well as higher order interaction. This is called resolution 4. Moving to the 10th question. Which of the following is a disadvantage of higher order multiple regression model? Okay, and so the answer could be like a comprehensive and detailed experiment must be performed on the main effect, because you have a multiple variable and you have to do it individually, and you have to go in depth to find out whether they are main effect. We say main effect non-parallelism. If it is anything which creates and we can do ANOVA, we can do hypothesis and all that. So I think this should be the right answer. And basically we can get to know from the p-value. In response surface analysis, which of the following values for S and T weight, which would indicate that the upper and lower boundaries are most important than the target? I think it should be 7. What type of human error is typically limited to particular tasks? Technique is the one which depends solely on human. And this is another question. If a process consists of two tasks, first task has 0.04 probability of error. The second has got 0.03 probability of error. These error can occur at the same time. What is the overall one? So the answer is 6%, 6.8%, but I will explain when we discuss the summary. In histogram, the number of bars is equal to the square root of the total number of data values. The last and final question. Which of the following diagram indicates the critical path analysis in a Gantt chart? I'm going to finish. So I have completed all the 15 one. Let's see the score. You want to finish? Yes. Excellent. So we got 100 marks. All the 15 are correct. We took only 5 minutes to complete everything. Let's see more in detail. So the cost of poor quality is calculated by subtracting the current cost from the ideal one. This is just rough estimation. And more importantly, revenue growth is calculated by determining the net increase in sales figure over the particular interval. Let's go to the next one. U chart is appropriate when the sample size is variable, but I still, as I said, that X bar R chart when you talk about the variable, this also has that. Fantastic. And to identify this one, we use the third model. The purpose of the program evaluation, review, and technique, and it is part of the DMAC one. And we can easily find out the cycle time, what we can do an adjustment to cycle time, overarching goal of PERT analysis to reduce the cycle time, but the answer choice too general to be correct. I mean, to find out the critical path. And one disadvantage using the engineering process control to prevent the deviation is that the use of these devices precludes the use of statistical process control. And of course, the Hygienka is a direct, straightforward leveling by product. Kurtosis is a parameter statistical distribution related to the sharpness of the peak. Like for example, let's say I'm just making like this one. Let's say when you're talking about the peak, right? Peak, which the sharpness of its peak. So this one, and then to the tail. So the kurtosis is the parameter of the statistical distribution related to the sharpness of the peak in a normal distribution where the points resemble the standard bell curve. Like almost symmetrically you will get it. The kurtosis value is 1. If the peak sharper, the kurtosis value is higher than 1. The peak lesser, the kurtosis value will get dropped. Central tendency is a general trend of the data. I mean, asymmetrical. Whenever that's the reason, whenever we have asymmetrical data, for example, if the turn is like this, or if the bell curve is like this, right? We can use the median. This is one of the reasons. Asymmetrical. The median is roughly equivalent to the central tendency. If in the asymmetrical distribution, the mean is a better and mean is a better marker. The skewness is in skewness is basically difference between the mean and the mode of the data set. Okay, very good interaction we had on this question. And this is the same thing which I explained. 3 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 2, 81 plus 9 is 80. And because the time is limited, only we can just go for the consensus method. This is called resolution 4 because actually like we're also dealing with the confounded one. And one disadvantage is we need to have that, as I said, that we have to go for the detailed one because it's multiple variables, and we also need to rely upon the p-values and so on. And in response to the surface analysis, we selected 7 because 7 for the S and T weight would indicate the upper and lower boundaries are more important than the target. In phase 2 of response surface analysis, S and T weight are based on the relationship between the target and the boundary. When the target and the boundary have the equal value, S and T are 1. If the target is more important than the boundary, then S and T weight are between 1 and 10. When the boundary is more important than the target, then S and T are 0.1 to 1. So this is the technique, because usually errors are typically limited to particular task. Six Sigma expert identify three categories of human error: technique, inadvertent, willful. Technique error are the one result of lack comprehensions, not understanding the tools, and so on. So this also is interesting question. So we're talking about two things: the probability of 0.04 and probability of 0.03. And this is the, again, what we have to do is the interaction, the A union B, and then with this is the formula, and when you apply it, you will get this value. In histogram, the number of bar is equal to the square root of total number of data values. Histogram looks like a bar graph, right? So we know, but the bar on histogram represent the number of observations that are false within the particular range. And this is a direct one, the Gantt chart. And I will keep this link in the description so that you can also take a look. And I hope you find this one very useful. Just in case if you're getting the low score, or not 100, not less than 100, what you can do, you can again click this one. The same link I'm going to keep in the description, so that one more time you can take the same thing, right? You can take again. What will happen? The questions will be shuffling, and the same 15 set of questions will appear, right? So I hope you like this video. Please do like, share, subscribe my channel. You have a wonderful day ahead.